hope everyone's doing well. I want to check my microphone. I seem to have this habit of it not working. My name is Sky. I'm a raw vegan. I was sick most of my life. I was actually in bed for, well, most of my life. 32 years I was sick, 25 years in a bed, 15 years straight in a bed, where I would classify myself as completely bedridden. So when I say I was in a bed for 25 years, is most of my days were resting and I could do something, or resting and do something. But then from the age of 25 up until 40 is most of my life was spent in a bed until I found the raw food diet. I've had over 60 surgeries, 7 major organs removed. I do a lot of lives in my kitchen because that's where I got my health. Health happens in the kitchen, guys. But I am here, and I'm going to share today about essentially what I did when I was stuck in a bed for 15 years. I was asked by one of you guys to, like, what did I do? Like, because I basically did not exist. There's only a couple photos of me. I think there's only a handful. I literally, from the age of 25, even before that, I was mostly in a bed. But from the age of 25 till I was 40, most of my day was completely spent hospital, bedridden or hospital. And as I've said, the raw food completely changed that. Hey guys, thanks for joining. Um, and I can wait till a few of you, more of you, come online. But my life's completely changed now. Today I was at Pilates. I did a sauna. I actually have most of Wednesdays off. I did a bit of resting today, but usually I am up and running and working, and this is just beyond a dream. Before I was sick, it was hospitals, it was doctors. Each day was basically just surviving. Like, that's kind of how my days used to go. And I think the way I was so adjusted to that is this all started when I was 16. I can bring up a photo of how I did look. As I said, there's not many photos from this time. I did not exist. I did not, even Christmases, most Christmases towards then, I could not walk up the stairs of my house. And let me show you. I was just in a lot of pain. I had had a lot of surgeries. I had chronic pain in my hip from a congenital disease. I've had 7 major organs removed. My body in the end was almost just shutting down. Here, there we go. So to get, like, even that's like down the front of the house I used to live at, that would then, I'd be so exhausted to just stand in the water. Like, that's like the biggest deal. I think if you zoom that photo out, I'm actually with my nieces, and they'd come over for the day and I would get up to try and do something with them. So, yeah. I'm just going to have to filter some people out. Sorry, guys. I will get started with sharing essentially what I did. First of all, people want to know what I did all that time I was in a bed. All that time I was, 15 years straight. It was literally in a bed. So before this, I'll take you back. So I had a virus when I was 8 years old, and then I was sick for 3 years after, where I could barely get through a day of school. I would fall asleep on the desk. I would be taken home. I'd be at more doctors. No one knew what was wrong. And they took my tonsils out. They said they'd been eaten away by bacteria and my adenoids. And I seemed to do well, really well. For like 4 or 5 years, I was just a normal kid, teenager. And then at about 16, I had this chronic pelvic and gut pain, which I went to doctors for, naturopaths, physios, chiropractors. Nothing showed why I was in so much pain, like unbearable pain. I had some surgeries to remove and cauterize some areas inside my pelvis to try and help with the pain. Then eventually a surgeon found that I had a second piece of uterus attached to nerves and ligaments in my 20s. And at this stage, I was now stopping uni, going to uni, having a lot of surgeries during uni, missed half of year 12, the last year of school. I was just always sick. So when I say I was in a bed 25 years, there's a period there where I was still pretty much bedridden, but I could do things. Like 10 years of this, I could still do things, but I'd go back to bed and need a lot of rest. I even worked. I would go to work, sleep on the train, get home, go straight to bed. My whole weekend was in bed. I was always sick, basically. And then at 25, I had my stomach removed, my duodenum, top of intestines. I had a perforated ulcer I did not feel because my back was so sore. It rotted. They tried to save my stomach a few times. They couldn't. Surgeries for that. And then, so this is once I'm 25, there was still about 10 months of being 25 where I tried to go back to work. And then I ended up on a walking stick, massive amounts of opioids for my pelvic pain. They had actually missed a part of the disease they were supposed to remove, and the disease had been left open and spread onto my bowel, my bladder, and my uterus. And so now, with as well as having high levels of hormones because I had a rare congenital disease, it was causing massive problems. I couldn't do anything. And I was still doing surgeries to try and help. It's still exploratory surgeries, looking why is this girl in so much unbearable pain? So much unbearable pain, I'd need Botox injected into the spine every 3 months, local anesthetic. I was in ketamine, having ketamine in cardiac units. So I went through all this and I was bedridden. I was always in bed. Like I would wake up each day and the most I would do would go to the bathroom, come back, go to the lounge downstairs at my house, come back. I basically was very medicated because I was in a lot of pain, but I mostly watched crime shows, which is kind of showing of where my psyche was. I remember watching a lot of Law and Order, anything to distract me because I was in a lot of pain. I did smoke if I got up because anything to numb me as well. Actually, I think I stopped smoking. I went through periods of smoking. Then I got into gaming online, um, and I would just be on a game if I could, and then sometimes I wouldn't be able to get online again for like 3 days because I'd be so much pain, so exhausted, or in hospital. What else did I do? I would go to hospital. I'd be in hospital. I'd love music, but I think that might seem for me now where I am really difficult to do. If you try to put me back to bed, I might have a nervous breakdown even thinking about that. But I didn't know any different. And when you're in that much pain, you're so grateful to be out of pain. So if I stood up and had to move, I was in pain. And so I had a life which revolved around not being in pain. And that was not moving, laying down, a walking stick, cold packs, and medication and surgeries. And everything else to me did not matter. Hello. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on weed? So, I do never used it for pain relief because I did not like it. Um, I was everything I was on was prescribed. I did have addiction problems just before finding a raw food diet, but that was only 4 months of the whole 32 years being sick. I think it was like about 4 months, 3 4 months. Um, but I do know people who have been in a huge amount of pain who find having marijuana helps. The biggest thing with addiction, and of course, I've been on massive amounts of painkillers for years for pain, as well as I smoked cigarettes, I vaped, I ended up drinking. And the whole thing is, you don't want to be in a situation where most of your thoughts revolve around relieving something with something external. So you don't want to, if you are someone who I don't know, has a wisdom tooth out and you need to smoke some marijuana for 3 days and then you don't think about it again. I feel that is very, very different than waking up and being wholly consumed by the drug. Now, what's interesting about addiction and chronic pain, and I really have not struggled with pain killers per se, and though I was on 500 milligrams of OxyContin, breakthrough of 60 of OxyContin, Valium, SSRIs for pain. I was also on, just one second, I'll fix this. SSRIs for pain. I was having ketamine, Botox, is because what happened was I was told because I seeked out pain relief for physical pain, I would not struggle so much with the addictive side. And I kind of didn't. Once the pain went, all I wanted was the pain relief to go. But in saying that, when you think of chronic pain and you think of pain relief, is every time I was in pain, it was so unbearable. All I could think of was, how do I get out of this? I would do anything. My whole days were consumed with not being in pain. So that's why I didn't feel like I was missing out. My goal each day was to not be in pain. This is from 25. Well, even when I was young, I was in so much physical pain, and maybe I don't talk enough about this because it's still a bit of a blur. And I think it's not just a blur because of the medication. Even before I was on medications, which, suppress, the whole respiratory system, including the brain, is that my whole thought process went. If someone said, do you want to go to the beach or down into the water? My brain went into overload. How will I get to the car? Where is my walking stick? Where is the ice pack? Who's going to be with me? Do I have my medication bag? Would there be sugar with me? Because at this time I was also having blood sugar issues where I'd feel so faint all the time because I was so small. And my whole, like, that's how, if somebody asks me now, I'm like, I'll go to the beach, I'll come back, I'll wear no shoes, I might go for a run. So my thoughts were how linked the pain or the drug, or when you're talking about do you use marijuana, is if somebody is suffering to the extreme. And I'm not talking about someone who's like, and what's sad about it is what I learned from healing myself is you need to take time for yourself. So I was on massive amounts of opiates and still tried to work, not realizing I should have at that stage still been working on myself. But what I'm saying is a lot of people who are suffering in a lot of pain, my pain specialist and my neurosurgeon said that Sky, more than likely once we fix this, will not be addicted. And I was on these painkillers for like 5 years. So, and then it took me another 5 years to get off them because they made me so sick. I was already so sick. So, I think what I'm trying to get at here is if you're in a lot of pain, you need to put a value on what you're using in your body. And you need to be, what I've learned is I healed myself, right? Is I should have been back then. I think my brain was in too much trauma looped. It was just, how do I get out of pain? How do I get out of pain? If some sugar helped me get through my day, I did not care so much as in that moment I was not in pain. And that's, I think, where my brain was. But when I got into losing everything, including losing myself, losing my carers, couldn't cook my own food, had my first place and had to look after myself, and I did these things for myself for the first time, is it's almost like I don't know how I would have survived without medication back when I was in physical pain, but when it got really, really bad. But it's almost like what we don't realize is being on things like SSRIs and pain relief stops us seeking answers. So when I was forced into a situation where I found the raw foods and committed to it fully and have not gone off that in 4 years, is without pain relief, without surgeons, without carers, is and having to rely on myself, I was forced to believe that nothing, if this was going to keep me out of pain, out of pain was a huge one for me, out of disease, out of addiction, I would do anything. And I think if I think back to my medicated self, is I was too comfortable. Though I was all, but you have to remember, these are like two completely different people. But I want people to understand this for people who are wanting to get well. You will only get well if you are absolutely really sick and hit rock bottom. And you have to be in so much pain that the pain it takes to eat a raw food diet or do something different or force yourself up out of bed and to look after yourself is so painful that you are willing to do anything to not be in that pain, not rely on doctors anymore, not rely on other people. So when the choice comes, when all my addictions come up, like having to, do I want to smoke? Do I want to drink? Do I want to eat bad food? It's like, fuck no. Fuck no. Like, because I lose control. I have, the only person I rely on now is nature. Okay, essentially nature. I do have my hormone replacement back in, but I even did that for 3.5 years without that, because I didn't want anyone controlling me anymore. You know, even in these situations, is if they want to lower something, up something, cut something open, is you become very vulnerable. And then when it's all taken away, it's just you. It's just you that has to face the world and your trauma. And trust me, when what I'd been through, nobody could understand. The only thing that helped me understand was myself and being in nature. But I think that's what's really important about medicating or putting things in to numb you. So I ruptured my ACL, my MCL is torn, was on oral morphine and tramadol, lost 2 stone and muscle loss. It was terrible. I'm so sorry you went through that. And it sounds like if you tore your ACL and your MCL, you were pretty fit. I think that's the other thing about addiction is if I am healthy and I break my toe like I did this year and you put me in a bed with endone, OxyContin for a few days, that's a downer. Like the upper that I was living was healthy food, sunlight, movement. When you are in chronic pain, you're eating a bad diet, your escape is cigarettes. When somebody gives you pain relief, it's an upper. And you have to understand that. So this guy, I'm not sure of anyone's situation, but so if John Blair's torn these things, more than likely it was fit. So when you put somebody very fit and healthy and you make them stay still and you try and put things in them, their body responds in a different way. And there's just so much value in, if you are chronically ill, don't wipe yourself out. I mean, look at me. That's 37. This is 44. That's 36. This is 44. But looking after, there's so much value, even if you're like, no, I'm too far gone. You're never too far gone. Every little bit of good you do for yourself, the universe will give back. Trust me, I've been on both sides. Aren't you in kitchen making sandwiches? No, I got asked a question tonight. I'm actually in my bedroom. I got asked a question tonight. What did I do for all of those years? 25 years in a bed, 15 years in a bed straight, like from 25 to 40. Except 1 year for about 10 months, I got well in 2018. Besides that, bed or hospital. And before that was like the 25 years that I was still in bed, was I'd go to work and the whole weekend was in bed, after work was in bed, many days off work in bed. So it was still bed, or I would do something, but by 25 it was just bed. I would occasionally go out for dinner and pay for it for a week. You just didn't do anything. I quit everything, including where I live. No doctors, no drugs, no alcohol, no processed food, nothing. Good for you, Wolfpack. You're amazing. I know what it takes to do that. And how I stay doing that, and I know we all have different mindsets, is that I know the strength it takes and builds over time. Like I've built that strength of opening the door and seeing people eat things I can't have, and walked through the I mean, excuse the pun here because he's wolf pack, but I've walked through the wolves and I've kept the sunshine, and you build strength in doing that. And you have to remember you're building. So when you start a health journey, and I'm not telling people that you have to do what I did, but when you start looking after yourself, know that every choice you make where you say, no, I'm looking after me, or I'm going to do this for me, is you get stronger. And the stronger you get, it's like leveling up. Life is like gaming. It's so like gaming. If you think that you start at level one and you have to learn through each level to get to the next level, and the next level is being stronger, having better self-care, having self-love, having the great job, but you have to master the levels before. And we can get stuck if we're too comfortable in level one. So if level one, and we're playing Mario Brothers, I don't know how old people are, but you're getting lots of mushrooms or whatever and you're quite happy, you don't want to go up to level two, is you kind of sit there and complain about it and keep it. But to get to level two, sometimes you have to fall down a ditch, sometimes you have to jump on the back of a tortoise or whatever. It's very much, you learn things when you're forcing yourself through strengthening choices, if that makes sense. So like, don't think that poor me, I can't have what they have. Say, I am so strong, I'm not eating that today, I'm gonna order, I don't know, the healthy choice off the menu, or maybe the healthy choice and fries, not burger and fries today. And you get stronger to get to the next level, to eventually get the life that you want. And but good for you, Wolfpack. Thank you. I have found addiction is spiritual sickness, and that you need to find something that can replace the hole or the void. And for me, it was finding a relationship with Jesus Christ. That's amazing. So I, yeah, so I believe it. I dissociated, and I was in psychiatric hospitals from when I was 37. So I had no psych issues. And then I was looking like this and they thought I was going to die. I'd been in ICU a couple times, and then I just stopped talking. And you'd ask me things, couldn't remember things. It was like being in a different world, completely different world. It's very hard to explain to people. And I believe that was spiritual. But what I saw and what I understand and what I feel now is where my relationship with the universe and source and God, and I'm an expression of God, and so are you, and but we're all one in the same because we are that. And when I took that part of a spiritual awakening, I realized that nature, God, source had always been right in front of me. I had other lessons to learn first before I took that step. But good for you. That was West Side SC. I have been in pain since I was young. This does not prevent me from acting correctly. You're just weak. Well, no, I had my organs removed. Do you have your organs removed? Maybe answer me, Alex. I have stomach removed, duodenums removed, top of intestines removed. I've had a full hysterectomy. I had a second piece of uterus attached to nerves and ligaments. Maybe write down below if that's what happened to you as well. We can clear this up. No sugar, cigarettes, alcohol, no TV, and no takeaway. Well, you're good. I don't even think I watch TV anymore. What might be good for you might not be good for someone else, 100%, because we're not all on the same spiritual journey or healing journey. 100%. That's Mitch Miller. I'm so for, like, I cannot stress that what I am here and what I feel I want this platform to be is wherever someone's at, is you're loved and you can do this. And it takes strength to even like stop having, for one person, it might be even soft drink. It's someone's spiritual journey, and I'm not here to judge any of it. I mean, I've been through it. It's even like I'm vegan, and I'm not here to put anybody else down because for many years I didn't eat meat, and it's all part of my journey and awakening. Why are you giving advice when you aren't even married? You're on level 1. What has marriage got to do with it? I know many people who are married and divorced now. Actually, most, not all, but a lot of them, half. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think it's about a soul and self journey. So I'm not actually giving advice. I'm sharing my journey. If you want to stay, you can. If not, there's plenty of other lives. I'm literally just sharing because one thing I learnt about this compared to this is all intuition. That was all what I learned at university, what I learned at school, what a professor said, what a surgeon said, what a doctor said. This is all what I feel. Doesn't feel right, doesn't come in my life. So I am not here to tell anybody what to do. I don't think I have I? No, I don't do that. Okay, I need advice. Oh, now I'm giving advice on how to beat my drug addiction. So that's very general when you say you have a drug addiction. It's usually so many more levels than that because it is pain related, whether it's the mind, body, soul, and usually it's all of them intertwined and locked up, and it's too much to face. If I was to give anyone any advice, the greatest thing that helped me physically, emotionally, and spiritually is the raw foods, of course, helped, but nature. When I had FND and I couldn't read and write and I couldn't get on a phone or a television and I had to heal myself by myself, not being on this was amazing. And just my whole day when I could finally get up was spent out by the water or in the water. Gosh, it helped me so much. Like nature is so underestimated, and especially when when I think of my deep being really, really sick like this, I had no idea the power that out of all of the things I've experienced in my life that nature will hold and guide. Hey from Amsterdam, I'm Australian. Oh, thank you. I am Australian. Uh, I'm addicted to alcohol, porn, gaming, vape, weed, tobacco, etc. It's not like people will remember me after I die, but it's your soul. So this is kind of what I thought when I thought I was going to die. Like dying, I think at one point was like, I was like, this is up to the universe, but it was always up to me. But in how I see it, and I've always seen it, but didn't understand it until now, until I went deeper and deeper into myself, is that my soul knew what it was doing when it came here. And it's like Ed Sheeran says, you have a lisp as a kid and you don't go play after school. You sit in a room and learn music so you don't have a lisp anymore. And you're constantly doing music. And it's hard and he felt different, but he did it. Or when he loses a business partner and he has to make rearrangements and growth. Growth happens in the dark. You plant a seed in the dark and that seed has to push through to reach the light. The hardest work is done in the dark, and that is what a soul wants to do. My soul came to this earth to learn these lessons. It's, this is, my life is a drop in the ocean, but my soul is here for eternity. What is learned on this plane, in this denser reality, is what we're here for. And the more you numb it, is, possibly if when you come out of this, when you're addicted to all this and you come out the other side, the skills you learn to have overcome all those addictions are going to change not just your life, other people's lives. And they change people's lives when you don't even know. So I don't go out onto these lives or talks and go, you're doing this wrong, you should do this, and if you do this, this equals A, B, and C, and we'll fix A, B, and C. I am literally just sharing, and usually people, when they tell me that I've helped them, I haven't even meant to. It's like, they might have seen me at a restaurant eating salads and they're like, she was so shiny and bright and everyone looks so unwell next to her. What's she doing? And I wasn't even trying to help somebody. Or it'll just be like, you did a reel 3 weeks ago and at the end you said this. And someone will be like, I knew then I could do this. Because no human is meant to learn by being dictated at and like manipulated. They're supposed to experience life, feel things, get a feedback and make change. It's like animals. Look at nature. That's how it works. Is we're supposed to get so uncomfortable and in pain that we eventually have to do something, because all those alcohol and porn and gaming, vaping, sex, tobacco, all of that is not serving you. So eventually it becomes pain. Like, and especially everything that has an up has a down. So if you drink, you get a hangover. If you take drugs, there's a come down. If you like, and so eventually that pain can become so great on top of the pain you already have. You're forced to make moves, but it changes the planet, raises the vibration of the planet too. Jump like a kangaroo. Not today, maybe one day. That does sound like fun. Hello, Bonnie. Uh, Hi, did you sometimes want to eat cooked? It's always easy for you to stay raw. What about eating with the family? So I think what you would have heard me say then, like what I have experienced on this planet, the pain, the suffering, the loss of life, not having a life, not having a job, not being connected to friends, not being able to help people, not being able to help myself, is what cooked food equals to me. So, because when I would eat the cooked food, I'd go back to bed, couldn't get up for 4 days, tachycardia, and still had all my problems. I just ate the food raw and I could get up and do things. To me, that is beyond a miracle. Like when it started happening, I was like, I'm going to get the photos out for you guys to show you all of, because I started taking photos once I felt better. I was just like, how is this happening? This is the most amazing, and that's what, so cooked food for me is in that box. But if I was to say what makes me strong at doing this, it's showing up for myself and doing it. So you are going to feel at the start a huge pain, like a huge loss that you can't do what they do. And a huge way that I stopped that occurring was being stimulated. I knew how addictions worked. I knew why people lacked food. I studied psychology for 5 years. Now, the reason they do is because we're stimulated and we're not just going to a family event for mum, dad, sister, and cousin. We're going there because we learnt from a young age, we get cake, we get slice, we get champagne or soft drink, we get, the turkey, all that. So when we think of family events, the brain isn't just thinking about family, it's thinking how stimulated it's getting. So when you show up, you're essentially showing up to these events as an addict. And what I noticed when I can read, because I was disconnected from my family and mum wanted to meet me at a coffee shop. And I started to get ready to go to the coffee shop to meet her. I don't think I'd seen her in a while. And I started to go, this is the first time I'm going to that coffee shop just to see my mum because I love my mum. I'm not going for the chai latte or the coffee or the slice or I don't even think I was having juices at that stage. I mean, you can get a juice at a coffee shop here in Australia, but it was the first time I went, I have to accept that I was going to places because, yum, I want the cheesecake, yum, I want, and you find out, I don't know, you get so many gifts doing this lifestyle. You have to remember those as well when you do things. But as you can hear here, you have to start accepting that you're going places just for the family. And that can be hard because people eating and doing a lot of addictive things, they have a lot of trauma. And so you're immersed in it. Another trick is I don't stay the whole time and I'm non-apologetic about it. I work my butt off on myself. I don't want to be immersed for 8 hours in 7 courses of food. I usually leave with my nieces. My nieces eat and go. I'm just like a little kid. Or at Christmas, they want to jump off the wharf. I want to jump off the wharf in the water. Everyone else is filling themselves with food. I'm over with the kids jumping off the wharf. I'm on the floats. I'm blowing up the floats. I'm like a big kid. And so there's all those parts. I do have a website called roarskye, roarskye.com. And on that, you'll see how I mapped out all the shops around me that have raw food at different hours of the day in different distances and what type of raw foods they have. Like my corner shop's open till 10. It has a lot of fresh food, which made it easy because you get cravings at night. And I'm like, I'm out of avocados or cashews, or I'm out of, I don't know, tomatoes. And I would walk to the shops, or I would go to Woolworths is only like not far away. That's open till 10. I would know what shops are open and what they had, because that helped me stay raw, because you have to have food around you at the start. So yeah, you have to reframe eating with your family is anything more than seeing them. And I just don't stay as long because a lot of it gets caught up in a lot of food coma and or I go off with my nieces. And I go to restaurants very stimulated. So I make sure everyone's having, like, maybe not always 7 courses, but I usually go out on like Mother's Day or Father's Day where we're expensive restaurants. There's a whole lot going on. So I'm good at now. I could not eat and be fine, but I used to call the restaurant ahead, and you'll see this on my website. Go through their menu, say, I'm coming, I'm a raw vegan, you have a garden salad. I always start with their garden salad. And I say, look, I can see on some other dishes you have some walnuts. I can see there's some chili and there's some coriander. Can I get them on top of my salad? And I usually do not say I'm a raw vegan. I say I'm high allergy, which I am with mast cell activation syndrome. But you find that they then, so many times when I said I'm a raw vegan, comes out, I said, don't put anything on it. It'll be covered in salt and oil and a dressing. So if you say you're high allergy, the chef will stop. It'll be marked high allergy. It'll be made properly. That's important to know. So I do that. I bring my own dressing. I order like 3, especially at the start coming off addiction. I order, like, you can order a tea, a juice, a water with lemon, a mineral. Order a lot. Have lots going on with your hands while you're at the table. And I'd usually go, do you have any fruit? Or some places put fruit in a blender for me. They don't have juices, fruit in a blender. So you have to make it work. You are worth it if that's what you want to do. Were you addicted to anything in your past? Yes. So painkillers were prescribed. So I was on, but I came off them slowly. I actually came off them faster than I was prescribed. I was supposed to come off them slow. I think that's contributed more so to that. But that was happening anyway. Every time that I decreased OxyContin, Oxycodone, Valium, SSRIs, horrible thing. Stimulant, dexamphetamines I was on, came off them. Vaping, smoking, I smoked. When I was in the worst pain, I smoked. Then I would stop for maybe a year, maybe more. And then when I was in a lot of pain, going through a lot, I picked it up. And then at the very end, I started drinking and my liver started failing. And I was in hospital for 3 weeks. And that's when my parents said, we can't look after you anymore. And I hit rock bottom, slept outside a hospital, hugging onto air conditioning vents that are warm, letting out warm heat. Had money for hotel rooms, but couldn't use my phone. I had FND. So a lot of times I would just not go back in. But then I got my own place and I was vegan and just didn't cook the food. And that's how I found the raw foods. But what helps me most with addiction is, as I said, keeping myself stimulated as a raw vegan. I used a lot of chili at the start. That helped me a lot. But I will, if my addiction is about to sacrifice me, as in like when I went up to Queensland, I was very open with you guys that a lot of the time I was doing lives. I was on a new high omega-3 diet, which was very more limiting than what I usually do. I think raw food is abundant. And I would have to sit out in a holiday situation with people drinking from the afternoon, eating foods. So I don't go. My health is worth me not feeling bad. And my parents are very understanding. If your family is in a place of not trauma and they do understand that you're not going to hurt them, it's nothing to do with them. It's all to do with you. So I've been addicted to everything, not weed. I get asked that weed a lot. I had it, smoked it a couple of times when I was younger, hated it, just did not move, did not see a point. Yeah. So I'm a sex addict. So that has not occurred to me, but it's the same principle. It's still dopamine. And I think as well, like when I look at how addiction forms, it forms without people knowing. It starts out as something, because in society, it's very fine to be prescribed medications. It's almost more normal to be prescribed medications, eat junk food, smoke vape than it is to be a raw vegan. Like it really is. Like it's normal. I'm on no medication except my hormone replacement, which it's not even hormone replacement, it's estrogen. Just because I've had a full hysterectomy, they find that in all cases is more protective than not. You from heart disease, bone disease, the brain protective, neuroprotective. So uh, Yeah, I'm not an expert on sex addiction, but I guess what I was trying to get at before was that you have to starve it. And I think starving it without replacing it is not a great idea. So you should replace it with something good like running and people, or like, I don't know, exercise, or it's very hard to just sit. I think when you're leaving an addiction, and that sounds like it's an addiction where most people still have an able body. When you're addicted to a lot of prescribed medications, usually someone's already sick. Um, Hello. Most people are addicts. Uh, Hey, Ian. I'm addicted to smoking, weed, and nicotine, but I'm getting over it by eating more. So this sounds right. Yeah, I think when you start making better choices. So, okay, I'll tell you how I overcame when they threw me in a psych floor. They ripped off the rest of my fentanyl pat. I was 37 kilograms. I'd been coming off the opioids they'd had me on for years. I was still on SSRIs and dexamphetamine and Valium and hormone replacement. They took smaller doses than I had been on all off me, left me on a psych floor. I kept falling off the bed in a psych hospital because I this is when I stopped talking and dissociated and couldn't even remember my name. And they took all that off me, and it was losing organs was a walk in the park next to that. So it was like being burnt alive and seeing my skin burn while if you've had opioid withdrawal. Plus, I was on SSRIs are the worst because you dissociate even more when they take you off that. It was like watching my bones break as I felt myself on fire. It possibly was about 2 weeks that this occurred before I could stand and actually leave the room. Um, but this, I'd been in a bedroom as well for 15 years. So this is my first experience trying to like be in the world where even when I'm in a hospital, my parents come or there's doctors and then you go back to your situation. There's no family. And if you've been in not in private, in a public psych hospital, people in there that have been in jail said jail is better than this. It's horrid. Um, so how I got over the coming off all of that was it was very fear based, but you'll find that you get cycles of wanting to go back onto addictive tendencies. Your brain likes to forget the hell you went through, but that was a pretty big hell. So when I got out of that, I could barely function. Some of the men out the back in the corner had a cigarette. And I didn't know them, and I'm like, I need something. Like, I was 37 kilos. Like, literally, this was 3 months before it happened. I was like, I need something. And they gave it to me. And literally, like, my whole body lit up, and I could, like, talk to someone, half talk to someone. And then I would have copious amounts of caffeine. Okay. But what you need to know about addiction and this story, this first part of coming off everything, is there's levels to it. Okay. So having cigarettes and coffee was not and these were all prescribed my fentanyl patch. It wasn't my amphetamines for ADHD. It wasn't Valium. They were injecting me with things it was just this situation there's no words on this planet to describe how horrid it is. And plus, please know, you're not allowed to, I wasn't allowed to leave the unit for like a month. So when I would leave, eventually I would sit out and smoke and have coffee and then come back in. Barely could say my name, but I would do that. That's all I would do. And when I came out of this, I realized at this point how having medications by a doctor allows you into a situation where what happened to me happened. I have no blame on the hospital. Is if you take a script, you can be me. You can go and, even those times you can't, I'm going to sue. No, you cannot. If you have psychiatric, you have no rights. You may as well be a flea. Okay. So if you take a script, a cigarette, or whatever, is you're at a whim to the person making and creating it. If I am addicted or immersed in nature, nature's always going to be there. Always. So I'm safe, right? But this is why I get anxious about taking HRT, but they give HRT out and they hardly take it off women. Okay. So that's a solace, but I still get anxious about it because of what happened and and it can happen to anyone. It happens probably to lots of people is they can push and pull medications whenever they decide because they've given it. And then they're really playing with your life. It's like if you're addicted to a drug and your drug dealer moves on or whatever, is you can't blame them, is you have got yourself into this situation. And that's what the truth is. If you take something that somebody else has made, is don't think that you have a right to. Anyway, so there's levels to this. I didn't want to go back there. So when I got out, I got off all the medication they put me on. I did not want to be linked whatsoever anymore, except I had a pellet of the hormone replacement put in, so I didn't have to go back. In the end, I wouldn't go back. I was so petrified of what happened to me. And then, but what I want to say about addiction is when I got out of hospital, I was using lollies, cigarettes, and caffeine, but I wasn't using prescription drugs. And I loved that because you can get caffeine, you can get cigarettes, and you can get lollies anywhere. It's not going to be ripped off and I'm not going to be thrown on a floor again. Then from there, because in the background, my mum was on a paleo diet, so I was trying to put healthier things in. And the more healthier things I put in, I changed my coffee over to chai teas. I stopped having processed lollies and would have health store lollies. I was just kept making better choices. But I still suggest to people, if you are heavily addicted and you having still things like chocolates and lollies and caffeine, is you're best to get rid of the real heavy stuff, if that's what you want to come off, and use less heavy stuff. I really think there's value in not shocking the body. It's like the gaming I was saying, you've got to learn how to be at a certain level before you get to the next one. So that's kind of what I have to say. I eat 90% fruit now and I feel like the best transformation I've ever done. Keep going, raw foods are the truth. I love that. That's, is it Mathis? Cass, that's amazing. You're amazing. A psychologist knows far less about addiction than the addict. True. True, true, true. I studied psychology for 5 years. You cannot. You cannot. I listened to psychologists talk and I went to a psychologist for years, sat in their office. All I did is strengthen my trauma because you just keep talking about it. And a person who has gone through it, I'm ready to listen to. I would rather listen to on YouTube or whatever someone like me who's not telling people what to do, but just sharing what they've learned. It's why I love TikTok. You've got women in their pajamas with their headbands on, no makeup, going, I tried this and this did not work, or this did work, and there's a pattern where they're like people who are just getting on and staying their story. I all valued in that. I love when you talk about yourself. Yeah, I share that addiction. Uh, Everyone is an enabler, family included. Drop everyone, go heal away from society. Kill the hive mind. Perfect. I have a plan. I would love one day to have sanctuaries around the world where people could go and do this. You cut off because I was cut off from everything. That's how I healed. And I realized, shit, I never loved myself. I never knew myself until you're off everything and you're just on raw foods and you're not connected to anyone. And I had no concentration, couldn't read from the FND I had, wasn't online. Nature, raw foods, kick everything. But many people can't do that. But if you can do that, kill the hive mind, anyone can do that, what you will learn is immeasurable about yourself. Uh, she's trauma dumping. I don't know whether I am. I don't actually like feel sorry for myself, but what I do think is there's value in what I've learnt. Plus, a million people, not a million, but a lot of people message me. I think it's the people not saying a whole lot of crap that I help in the background who are doing things with their life while they've got a podcast on that I'm here to help. Any chance do you like Coldplay? I do. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot. I'm probably here to help these people who are writing something like this some way. Uh, when did you transition? So if you mean transition into raw foods, in 2021, where I realized the difference between eating the food that was cooked and eating it raw was dramatically different. Like I could do things and not have symptoms. Um, Yes, so here Kevin Sandoval has said, it definitely can strengthen your trauma talking about it every day. And this is why a lot of people say, are you going to write a book? And when I healed myself, I knew it was a miracle and I knew that a book could help people, but it wasn't going to help me after being in a bedroom for 15 years to sit in a room, lock myself up and write about it. edit it, write about it. That's why I prefer to do. It's taken me like 4 years till I get onto and talk about this every day. But I'm in a place now where um, I don't know, when you finally heal, you take full responsibility. There's no victimhood anymore. It was all me. All of this, yes, I had diseases, but in the background, my forefront should have been to look after myself. And I never did that. And I had to get to rock bottom. And I think many people do. But I'm more of like, the reason I show up here is because I feel like if no matter where somebody's at, even if they've today just stopped, as I said, soft drink, it's work. For one person, soft drink can be so much that gets them through a day. They have kids, they care for a parent, and they constantly have soft drink, and that's what gets them through a day, and they've quit it. And other people, like, they're just lazy, they're all that. And I'm like, you're kind of trauma dumping there. It's the kind of like, that's you projecting. Be proud of you and be proud where people make better choices every day. That's all I want. Is I think the little choices made day by day can really help people. But yeah, so I studied psychology, and I think it was probably the most traumatized when I was studying it, right? I was having a lot of surgeries. I was in pain. It was like a solace to me to immerse myself in journals. And then when you're in chronic pain and on they put me on an SSRI for pain, but if you're in chronic pain and on all that medication, you see a psychologist. It's just part of the multidisciplinary treatment. Um, it kept me sick until my days were spent out in nature, and the doing, it like rewired my brain. So even just playing in the grass or touching trees, my brain just started to heal itself. Sitting, because even when you go to into a room, you think about what you're going to say and how you're going to be around that person. Then you leave and you constantly think about what you talked about. When it does help is if you've had a very specific trauma. So just say somebody's recently been in a fire or something, and their goal is to overcome a fear of fire. Something very specific, which is goal reached. And then you stop it and you go on with your life. What I have healed by being outdoors and eating the right way, and when I get overwhelmed, learning coping mechanisms that do not involve anything prescription wise or cigarette wise or addictive wise, is immeasurable. But only I know what they are. I can't gift them to somebody else. I have to show up for myself. But I tell people what I do, and it might inspire them to go, hey, you know what? I love racing cars, okay? Or I love dirt bikes, or I love riding bikes. And so you swap the Saturday night drinking or whatever it is for getting up early and doing your favorite thing, and you start to learn that natural dopamine adds up. Like how I feel when I've done raw food, nature, jumped in the cold river like I did the other day. Um, Let me run you through that day. So I get up, and what is the first thing I did? I did a Pilates class. I went for a run. I then came back. I then jumped in the river. I made a reel about it because I was listening to this inspiring music. So I put the inspiring music over the jump, came back, put it in a video, and made that beautiful big salad. And by the afternoon, I'm literally, it's like almost like I'm vibrating with energy. Like you cannot get that. All you can get from cigarettes, coffee, alcohol, prescription drugs is to not feel for a short period. And we learn that that is happiness. So when I think of before raw foods, I thought happiness was stimulation. Now I know it's like this energy which you can just grow. Yes, I might take a few steps back in periods, but the strength is, I'm like when I got something like COVID or a virus, or how strong I felt versus when I was sick, when I got these things, it was like being snapped in half more. Well, not snapped in half, you just felt terrible. But uh oh, you're welcome, Kevin. Hi, Jennifer Schaefer. You are always so kind. She said, hi, I love your channel and especially your lives. Amazing content. Jennifer, I love you. It's so nice. Jennifer always leaves these beautiful comments, and that I appreciate that. I see them. Uh, my body cannot metabolize raw foods. So, what I will tell you about the healing journey is you have to start where you're at. And with that being is you may not be able to metabolize it, but you can probably metabolize some with some maybe cooked food that you already like. So just say you're if I said what is your favorite vegetable, and you said, look, I do love sweet potatoes, but I get bored with them by themselves. So I would say to someone like that, well, if you want to eat more plants, start with the sweet potatoes, which you already like. You could put some peanut butter in them, or you could put some avocado in them, and then you might want to put some raw food with that, maybe some I don't know, some chopped up tomato with the avocado in the sweet potato. Plus, a lot of the time, what can help with digestion is probiotics or some sauerkraut. So you'd have that too. But you have to approach this is there's no way around this. A health journey with how can I do it? If the amount of people, I'll give you an example of this, is remember I've been disconnected from the world and I eat this raw food and I'm out. People are like, whoa, you're up. What is this? How did you do this? I'm like, oh, I eat this raw food diet. Oh, I couldn't do that. I get gas from plums. Oh, I couldn't. And I tell someone else, I couldn't do that. My kids don't eat that way. Oh, I couldn't do that. That costs too much. If you want to heal yourself, you can look at me. You can do anything, but you have to accept where you are and you have to look at how you can. So when you see that you can't metabolize raw foods, if I have no stomach and I can metabolize them, so I would suggest to someone who can't metabolize them at the moment that you eat the foods which are softer with some fermented foods, and you are working your way towards, you don't even have to overthink it. Own where you're at, but you have to see a way through. It was so amazing that when I got myself well, the amount of people who, as soon as I gave them an answer, because it didn't just heal one thing, we had a list of like 50 things that healed for me. So it could possibly heal anything for anybody, and I've seen it heal. There's nothing I haven't seen it heal. But everyone came at me with why they couldn't do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, everyone's at life when they're presented with an answer, why they can't do it. So that's a huge thing. You have to, whatever your goal is, you have to keep looking for ways to get through, even if life blocks you, because that will give you strength to take the next step as well. Everyone like this so it can reach more people. Thanks, Kevin. Yes, like and subscribe. I feel like I'm getting closer to 5,000 subscribers as well, guys. So let's lift this up a bit here. I think I'm like 300 people away. So drinking is a big problem with the Aussies and New Zealanders. It is. And I feel like when I meet people who have stopped drinking, who aren't even eating raw foods, is you notice they've turned their life into something else. Don't think there's no benefits. Does it get hard? Sometimes, as I said recently, a lot of my addictions did come back up. I didn't go there, but some of them did come back up that I had to face. And I have said before, it's because I feel a lot of my identity memories come back, like who I am. I could hardly remember things. I could tell you, but there was no feeling or emotion. And as these feelings and emotions come back up, more processing's happen as these addictions come back up. But it is a problem, but it's nice to see the younger generations. It's not such a thing. Let me just turn the air conditioning off. I'm sitting on my bed, my legs gone to sleep. I'm noticing younger generations, unlike my generation, where everything was like you were wanting to get older to go to nightclubs, that there's actually the health risks. But I will tell you the benefits you get and you learn about yourself, and what people get out of their lives who aren't even raw, that have just stopped the drinking. It's like, because they start taking up hobbies, they start doing hiking. So instead of like coming home and numbing yourself, they're more likely to go to the gym. And then the more you look after yourself, your life just changes. People can say that all sounds boring, but keep doing it. Even on the days it seems boring, even on days it doesn't seem nice, because you'll reap benefits that you couldn't if you didn't do what you're doing. So the pleasure feedback may not be the pain you feel when you're doing the exercise, which changes over time because you get stronger, but it might be that the pants are a bit looser when you put on, or you're clearer and more focused at work, or you come home from work and you've got more energy. You have to learn that the dopamine response doesn't come straight away. Yes, hit the like button. You make me nervous. I'm sorry. No way you're from the one granny game. I don't know what that means. Uh, Hi, my name is Jonathan Taylor. I just subscribed to your YouTube channel and I gave you a thumbs up. Thank you. That's appreciated. We're going to reach lots of people here, because I think the moral of this story here is anything is possible. Like, I was literally in a bed nonstop 15 years. Most of my life was like from when I was 8. Before that, I was just a normal kid. Thank you. Uh, Uh, advocate. Um, okay, all of this is good advice, but no one is succeeding with overcoming addiction without resolving trauma, which is 99.99% of people will never do, hence why society is all addicts. So I used to try by hitting it head on. Like, I've got this issue, I'm going to dive into it, I'm going to fix it. And I ended up breaking myself because I was so focused on pain. And there's so much value on the present moment because any trauma you have isn't present. And this is why a raw food diet, I think, works for addiction, and it works for addiction and psychiatric mental health. Because especially if you've eaten nothing from a packet and you're just eating all the hydrating stuff, you are present. You don't have thoughts of the past and you don't have thoughts of the future. I don't even eat that perfectly because there's nutrients I want now, but in my depths of healing, you're so present. And what you realize about being present is you're creating beautiful choices and beautiful ideas, and you're not going, poor me, poor me, I need to do this to fix this. And you start attracting more of it. The more I sat in pain, the more I attract pain. Anytime I feel it in my heart, and this is why processing is going to happen. Yeah, I don't really even cry, and I've really been through it. Um, and I sometimes give myself permission, but I don't stay there because I'm not back there. And I'm I have been through a lot, but everyone has. And I'm just saying that what I noticed about my addictions and finally healing was get away from the psychologist, get away from trying to dig into yourself because you're just digging into the past, which is not here now. And yes, the more I focused on the present, is little bits would come up that I can process. It doesn't have to be this big thing where it's so much that your life starts to reflect it. So that was my experience. It obviously isn't everybody's, but yeah. I'm talking about how I was in bed for 15 years straight. I've had over 60 surgeries, 7 major organs removed. I was near death many times. I've been through hell and back, and I healed myself with a raw food diet, self love, and nature. And raw food, self love, and nature, I swear they get me through everything. They really do. They've led me here to this point where I share as much as I can. So I hope that helps. How would you like to be in her cross? Is that time of month? Well, I've had a hysterectomy. I have the iPhone 16 Pro Max. What do you have? So I have the 13 Pro Max. I just got a camera, which I missed getting delivered today. So they've taken it to a shop because everyone wants to see what I do all day because I film really long videos doing that. But I need my phone. And my camera, as soon as I got that up, I'll film them for you so you can see all the stuff I do day to day. I'll take you with me. But the phone thing, a lot of people say that the iPhone 13 Pro Max is like the best camera, and that the 16s and the 15s and the 14s, they have a gray tone. So I was going to upgrade my phone, but like, are they good? Someone tell me, like, are they not as good? And then people go, there's all different settings. I'm like, I don't want to fiddle around with settings. I want to click and go. I don't want to be like, this is off. I just read an article. So Jennifer Schaefer said, I just read an article in the US. More people are staying sober, especially younger people. I love it. I love it too. I love that. I love it so much. Uh, you've got a weird school mom vibe. It's oddly appealing. I don't even know how to take that. Uh, Yeah, Layla said, Jennifer, yes, more young people are into health these days. It's good to see. It is good to see. It's like, I know people might think that on Instagram or TikTok or something, it's very showy of people to be in like gym wear and green juices and Pilates and like running or whatever they're doing, and they do their like health food shots. I love it. I think if someone gets addicted to doing that, that's just so much healthier long term. Your life, if you get those right, life just seems to work. And I say this all the time, that people who are extremely successful and become like billionaires and millionaires say, they spent more time on themselves than they did on trying to get the job and get the money. Like, it's true. The more I work on myself, the more life just starts reflecting that, like that love and that care and that. So when you are making yourself, excuse me, your salad, or cooking your tofu or whatever, and you start being like, oh, I'd really love to just order Uber Eats, or I'd really love to just go down the pub, is stay present, do it, enjoy it, try stay mindful, but your benefits will come. So that is like a quick benefit. So you'll be like very stimulated, very detached from trauma that's more than likely coming up. What I notice about my pain, if it ever comes back up, or um, that I tend to go into pain before a memory starts to come up, or I'm about to work on something. My body fights it. So more than likely, if your body's trying to send you back old ways, stuff's about to come up and it's doing a learned response, which has always been to, you've never felt the emotion that's been sitting in you. You've always gone to the pub, or rung this certain friend and you've gone smoking, or I don't know what it is, and you have to sit with those feelings while you're eating the tofu, or while you're having the raw food, or while you're having whatever you're having that is healthy for you. And you've got to sit through it while it starts to come up. But your benefits will just keep popping up. Like, they just keep dancing away the more good you add in. It's just, especially when you start this, is you may not feel that. But that's all strength that you will get by overcoming, doing something different. I love being different. I actually love the fact, but I'm a Leo. So it's like, I love that I don't do what other people do. Well, essentially, everyone kind of, what I worked out when I first like started going out is, most people meet up, eat food which is causing disease, and talk about the doctors they visit to fix the disease. And then they order another drink. And then they go, have you tried this medication? Have you tried this medication? And the whole conversation revolves a lot around fixing what they're putting in their mouth. It's interesting. You learn a lot. You also appreciate the architecture and the view in restaurants more, or the conversation. But I always usually leave right when it ends, or with my nieces. Um, so, Granny over here looking for fame. Yes, yes, I put this up for fame. I think we're a bit past that. I think when you've been as sick as I have, I don't think things like that matter. I think all that you care about is that. I remember being, when I was in my sickest, and people, what kept me going when I couldn't keep going for myself because I'm so suffering, was that if I survived, I was going to make sure nobody suffered like me. And this is my way of doing that, right? Is I was like, if I can overcome this, and this was back here, this is not even the next level of like going through the dissociation and the FND and the shingles through the eye and all the and homelessness. Even before that, I was like, if I can overcome the freaking pain I've been through, I will be able to help women everywhere with whatever the answer is. And I've learnt that the answer is different for each person. Is definitely raw foods and nature are amazing. The road that we take to find ourselves is supposed to be different for each soul. And that's what I impart into the world. But I share everything I know so that maybe it'll hit a nerve with somebody. Um, so, okay. Hey, ma'am, I'm a teenager and I want to become rich as hell. Any tips what I do and some solid advice and guidance? I can give you an advice. Actually, one of my good friends, I haven't spoken to him in a while. What's his? He's got like 9 million followers on YouTube. James Condolitis. Okay, so he's got lots of followers, right? He does not drink. He actually, I should see if he'll do a podcast with me. He will, about his lifestyle, because if he's not doing YouTube, which he's making money from, and I think he's younger, so he's on WhatsApp, all sorts of different things. He's looking after himself. He's not definitely not raw. He does not drink, and he told me a lot of these top YouTubers, if that's the route, and I can only give advice that you're thinking because I'm on YouTube. Or I guess it's any advice, right, for being rich. But these boys are young. They're completely immersed in what they do. They do not drink. They do not get distracted by relationships. They're not like out seeking girls. So that might be. But I should speak to him and see if he'll come on and share some health tips and maybe some YouTube tips. Because he's been doing it for a while. He actually lived over in LA in one of those houses, those YouTubing houses. So yes, hit the like and subscribe. Raw food. I am vegan. Are you from Earth? Oh, thank you, Robert. How How are you to find out I'm good, thanks? I'm glad you're good, Robert. Thanks for the money. Thanks, Brenda. Oh, wow. Oh, no, I haven't. Yes. Oh, my God. I got to the end of all the comments. Usually, I kind of sometimes get a little bit like, oh my gosh, am I right back at the top? Um, where, like, am I talking about something and everyone else is down there talking about something else? So, um, yeah. So that's good. That's very positive. I feel like I spoke about everything I wanted to speak about. The main question tonight was, what did I do all of that time? I was sick and it was literally just try to not be in pain. That was the most of that time. And then when the psych things, and the FND, I really couldn't get up. That was like hell. That was like reliving trauma, laying down. Um, I don't drink, neither do drugs. I'm vegetarian as well. Neither roam around girls, but the main thing I'm confused what to do to become rich. It's not a 9 to 5 job. I want to become rich as hell. Okay, my only advice, I'm obviously not rich as hell. I'm just starting out my journey. I make money, which, yeah, I think is good for me, for where I've come from. Is you want to do something which becomes natural. So, like, I can talk for hours. So, obviously, YouTube is a good choice because I can just talk. Um, so do whatever you are good at that you can do all day and all night. If you could do it, if you got someone pulled you out of bed, that's the first choice you got to make. And then once you do that, you have to start. So a lot of people, including on a health journey, will be like, oh, I'm going to get on a health journey, but I'll do it in a couple of weeks once I've ordered this, and this. No, if you're going to do it, you have to just start. It doesn't have to be perfect, just include some fruit on that day. You have to get your brain out of old habits. You have no idea what you're about to battle. Okay, so if you want to become rich, first off, figure out what you want to do. Um, what you want to do and what can you do. Well, not what you want to do, what you can naturally do. Like, what some people are really good surfers around here, right? Is for me, I mean, I could probably not get up. So becoming a surfer would not be like the best profession to try and come rich with, right? But what could you do in your sleep? That's the first thing you want to follow. And then start doing it. I'm good at nothing, lol. Or maybe if I'm good at something, I don't know, and I haven't explored it. You're pretty confident. Maybe you start a blog, but just know whenever you start, you get no reward at the start. So that's why you got to love it. It takes a while to get like whatever you're doing. I mean, you could get lucky, but most things, if you go into something which is already making money, you're going into it for the money. If you want to do something which is sustainable, you want to fall in love with it. And usually, if you're good at it and can always do it, is people will come build it and people will come. Okay. But at the start, know that it's going to be small. So it's not everyone wants to be on camera. Maybe it's a vlog. Maybe it's a forum. You seem like confident in talking, but you have to start it even, and you have to honor and respect it even if 2 people are in there. You have to treat that like there's 200 people in there and show up for those 2 people. So, what the fuck do you know about trust law? Not much. I feel like you're just here for the compliments. I've been talking nonstop. I don't know if that's. I don't know whether I get that many compliments, to be honest. I get one person saying they want to marry me, and the next person saying I look like a granny from school. One person saying something nice. So I don't think you come on. I think you have to be pretty thick skinned to actually come on here. Um, Thank you. So I say thank you because I only acknowledge the nice things. I try filter by when my mods are on. I don't see a lot of this, but it's not always nice, right? So that's why you got to love what you do and know that it's worth still saying it, even if there's a whole lot of people that are saying things that I don't necessarily believe. So, if I didn't feel good about myself, I wouldn't get on here because I would just feed into what everyone was saying. You have to be confident. Also, if it's like you want to start doing like social media, here's the thing. And Lissa Maris told me this from Orphan Romance. Just start. Just post your salad or post your surfing or post the photo you made or post the chair you built. Just post because it takes ages You'll attract the right people, but it takes ages to build what your goal is. You've just got to start, and the right people come. Don't overthink it. So if you've got something that you want to start, just start. Oh, thank you. That's such a nice compliment. You look healthy, beautiful, vibrant, and conscious. Keep being you. I think that's what is a really good thing, is find you and be you. That was lovely. Uh, why do women refer to everything as a journey? Because it's high vibrational, it's spiritual. It probably sits in feminine energy that I'm not here just for the cigarette. I'm here for the journey, which is a whole path. I am vegan. That's how I saved my life. Not vegan, vegan. Not vegan, vegan. So, what does it say? If I was confident enough, I was also there on live on YouTube, but not enough to do that. I don't even click on pics. I don't know what that means. How do you get protein as a vegan? So I am actually, every food has protein in it. So there's that. We don't need as much protein as you think you need. So someone like me, including the exercise I do, probably needs about 45 grams of protein a day. The average woman only needs 42 to 45 grams of protein a day. I'm much smaller than the average woman, but I exercise. So I probably need a bit more. Um, but for me, soaked lentils, I love mushrooms. I have nuts, I have seeds. I sometimes add hemp protein or peanut protein to some of my dressings and meals. But if you are vegan, you can use tofu, tempeh, soy, beans, cooked lentils. Um, yeah, but I will preface this. When I did a higher carbohydrate diet, I built hardly any muscle, but I could keep going because, of course, the body runs on carbohydrates. But I was building nothing. Now, with I have denser veggies and seeds, I notice that I do less. But when I do it, geez, I build versus when I did not have a large amount. So I do notice, but I definitely don't need a huge amount. I want to say if your healing is, if you feel the pain in your muscles as they build, but it is acidic. Amino acids, they are acids in the body. When you want to heal, you don't want the kidneys with too much protein. You want balance, baby. You want your fats, you want carbohydrates, you want amino acids, you want vitamins, you want minerals, you want hydration, you want it all. Um, Thank you. I better to eat meat. Vegan searching for protein is sucked. So I don't know. I feel amazing. I feel absolutely amazing. People like find reasons not to do things. If something, all the people that I admired, that I see online that look the best, have high amounts of raw food. I look at that as how can I do it? Not why can I stay eating a food, but then on the weekends I need to drink. Like it's not serving me. So that's what I do is I see people who glow and I'm like, what do they do? Let me, especially older women who've been on a health journey or look healthier than most, and they do high amounts of raw foods. They have, proteins, carbohydrates, fats. Yeah. Thank you. Cheese is very inflammatory. In fact, dairy and meat, but even dairy is what people say, especially with skin problems, that they just stop and their skin stops. Like whether it's breaking out, back acne, chest acne, or eczema, they say even before they get into plant-based healing that they stop like cheese or cheese and meats, but a lot of time it's dairy and a lot of it clears up. So the KWYO diet works well if you do it well. Do you mean keto? I tried that. It did stop a lot of my blood sugar problems, but you can't do it long term. Even doctors say you can't really do it more than 6 months. I don't know if it's, and that's not sustainable, but it was good to give my body a break. It was good to try. I like to try things out. We're talking about here, it's not chemicals in my body. It's just an adjustment of food in the raw food lifestyle. Ain't killing me. So it's nice to try things. I am 44. This was me. That was me at 36. That was with a nutritionist. I was on prescription medications, but I come off a lot of it, most of it. It's only like probably like a sixth of it left, maybe even less. Less. I was on a lot. Yes, I did. I cleaned my life, and that's what I share. I am vegan for the animals. So I went vegan before I went raw vegan. I went vegan, I went paleo, and I got some of my health back, and then I got shingles through the eye, and I got FND. And during that time, I couldn't do much, but I started to think like, I feel it was like my awakening. Like, animals aren't here eating me at my weakest. Why did I think I could eat them? And so I would just start most of this time was in hospitals, just asking for vegan food. I'm a vegan, but there's stages to it. I mean, I was very sick. I just knew I didn't want to eat anything with a face. I didn't want to eat things babies, and that's how that started. Um, that's a good question. Can I ask what has worked best for you stabilizing your blood sugars? I can't work it out. What's causing my sudden lows on a vegan diet? So I didn't feel very good on a vegan diet. On a raw food diet, I feel amazing. I don't so that could be something, maybe that sort of shift, but I think there's this misconception with raw foods and probably vegan foods that it's all healthy. Like if you get watermelon juice and afterwards have a big cashew cream salad, there's a lot of, in one cup of walnuts, there's like 600 and something calories. So there's a lot of fat and a lot of sugar. And so I always say pick a macro. I prefer to do lower carb fruits with veggies because that's just what I feel like. It's more sustainable. Um, I think I've got to charge my phone up a bit here. It likely done. One sec. Okay, do that for a little bit. I think that is a huge misconception. But if you are doing vegan and you want to stay eating cooked food, I would more suggest doing like, what is it, like raw tofu, but more so fruits during the day. But on a raw food diet, I love what I do. I feel amazing having like veggies with high omega-3, flax oil or chia, green juices, coconut water, dragon fruit, berries. The hydration really helps me. But yeah, sometimes our body pushes us in a direction where you're not feeling good. Try including just more raw foods. That can really help. So someone said oxalates as in plain toxins and alkaloids. So people, and they say things like anti-nutrients. Okay, guys, look at me here and look at me there. Meat, protein shakes prescribed by nutritionists. Do you see anti-nutrients? Oxalates are killing me. No. No. How much do you need to eat? Do you know what Dr. Brooke Goldner said and other doctors have said? They ain't seeing people turn up needing kidney transplants and dialysis because they drank too much green juice. They ain't dying from green juice. Okay, so this is another thing. People come up, I won't do it. If you Google any food, you will find studies for why you can eat it and why you can't eat it. Common sense. Common sense. I don't need a degree to know that ain't working and this is. So that's just, but there's going to always be, I was back here. If you presented me with raw foods, I would have told you every reason why I was so sick, tried everything, it wouldn't work. So I'm not, but I'm saying, like, guys, look at me. Like that, I'm not getting any of those problems. You look like, I don't know what that means. So yeah, stabilizing blood sugars for me was an issue because I have my stomach removed. So the sugars go straight into the intestine and straight through the walls. So I have found that I need to have more greens. I cannot start my day with a sweet fruit anymore. That's like the worst. So I do like greens and veggies, and there is a link over in the description for my mast cell activation folder, which has what I eat in a day. But I post a lot of videos on this channel of what I eat anyway, a couple times a day. So you see chia puddings and berries and what I buy at the farmer's market. So you can go back and have a look. But that's the only way I could stabilize them.
And it's also very satisfying. I don't feel it's a diet that I'm trying to get through. Don't ever get yourself on a diet that you hate, where you're like, I'll just push through. You can only push through for so long. You have to find a way to fall in love with it. And this is what I always recommend on this channel. No matter what you choose to do, find a way to make your faves. Like, you know, you might love Indian, or you might like pizzas. You need to find a way to make it healthy, because these things will come up and it makes it more sustainable. Why does my phone, it just goes dull? I need a new phone. Like, it's literally just gone black. I don't know why it does that. And then it goes bright. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, guys. I'm on juice, 2 beetroots, lemon, yum! 2 green apples and kale. That sounds like a good juice. I actually might do a video on that. That sounds good. Body. I've researched toxology, plant toxins and fermentation, etc. Do you know how I got well? Is when I had FND and I couldn't read anymore. And I got, like, when I could read and I'd been at university and school and experts and doctors, this is me, nature, and just the fresh foods. And sometimes we got to let go of overeating, because someone will say greens are amazing. No, greens are going to kill you. Watermelon's amazing. No, it's going to too much sugar. Then you've got, oh, just, it goes on. Every food. So it's beetroot. Beetroot is really, really good. Beetroot is amazing. I don't know how old you look. You're relatively attractive for your age. Your eyes look bright and your skin and face is plump and tight. Thank you. It's all the good food and good love and good energy and working on ourselves. And as I said, I'm not saying go out and do Pilates and running and raw food, but you've got to find ways that you literally feel good continuously. Like, you eat a meal and you come away and you still feel amazing. And then you're like, well, what else can I do that will make me feel amazing? So you go out in nature and you come in, you're like, I look like I'm glowing. What else can I do? Coconut water, glowing. What else can I do? And your whole life becomes excitement, because things make you feel good and glow, and you feel like you're like tingling with energy. You have oily skin. That's not good. I don't think I do. I've got a bit of moisturizer with like a tint on, but I haven't had oily skin. My skin seemed oily when I was using coconut oil, but then your eyes are blue, not green. Yes, they're blue. Thank you for your insight. Very helpful. You're very welcome, Lulu Bell. That's a nice name, Lulu Bell. It has good energy. Yes, beetroot lowers blood pressure, but it's also amazing for blood. I'm not exactly sure right now, my computer's not here, what it is in it, but I think it's like it increases oxygen in the blood by like 10% somehow. It does something amazing, and it's really good for people, women who have their period, and people who are about to go to the gym. I could have a look at what that is, but thank you. I'm trying to do some modding here. I'm testing out kelp seaweed at the moment for higher iodine. Good for you. And kelp noodles. I do love me some kelp noodles. I do love doing like a ramen, or what did I do? I've still got to put together that recipe of, what is it? The beetroot noodles in the wraps. I've also got the steak as well. I was meant to do today, but today was a rest day. Always prioritize if you need some rest. Diabetes are hemochromatosis for me. Oh, this is a great lifestyle. This, eating raw food and plant-based and feeling your best. Definitely a lot of people on raw food lifestyle have completely reversed diabetes and managed type 1 diabetes. So yes, very true. Is it Jewel Jamison, oily skin is very good thing. As you get older, you won't have a lot of wrinkles. And yeah, that's why I think the fattier foods do better for me. When I do like high carb, my blood sugars are an issue. I get nerve pain, but I age. And yeah, don't so much. Avocado is amazing. I get allergies to a bit of avocado because they're histamines, but avocado is so anti-aging. I love roarskye. Thank you. Ferritin in my blood. I think ferritin is measured in different ways. So I think in Australia that's like what, 46, and now it's at 38. I don't know. See, it seems to be different. See, our ferritin levels kind of sit between 100 and like, you get it at an iron infusion, it can go up to like 180, and then it kind of plateaus down to say like 80 or 70, but you're still fine as long as you're over 20. My ferritin went down last year to like 0.8, but then someone else was saying that theirs was like in hundreds or thousands. So I don't know whether over the world they do it differently, measure ferritin differently. I'm 44. I have Jewel has oily skin and she's 53 and she looks like she's in her 30s. You go, girl. I love miso soup. It's really good for you, right? I used to use miso a lot too, but the histamines in it used to set me off. So I haven't had as much, excuse me, recently. Are you vegetarian or vegan? Vegan, baby. Are you wearing makeup? If not, good God, you are smoking. Yes. So I put moisturizer on and I leave it, it's like thick and white. And then I have these 3 foundations which I mix to get the color I want. And then I mix them on my face with the foundation. And then I put a bit of bronzer on my cheeks. And then I put a little bit of blush and then a bit of mascara. And that's how I go my day. That's how I run my day. The skin dried up completely, not good now. I'm healthy and I have better skin. I take MSM supplement. So the thing I find about supplements is what's in them may help. This is besides oils like primrose or vitamin E, because you're essentially just getting the oil. But what I notice about supplements is you age because you're dehydrated. You get to like 40, and it's like if you get dry, and supplements dry us up. So because they're dry. So I don't know, it's like a double-edged sword. It's why like I haven't got into the MSM, because I just noticed I take magnesium at night and that does help my gut, my muscle recovery, but I do feel the pull on my system. I do feel more dehydrated because of it. So I'm very reluctant to put anything more in. I am an Aussie. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. What shoes are you wearing? None. I've got no shoes on. It's actually quite a mild night for winter. I've only got no shoes on. I got singlet top on. The heater's not on. So we're good. We are good here. Oh, you're not a woman. You're a man. I'm so sorry. That's very judgmental of me. I was like, yeah, that's very observant that your oily skin keeps you young. I just assumed it was a woman who said that, which is bad on my part. Sorry, guys. USA ferritin is supposed to be at 50 to 300 max, ideally 50. What? You're at 4,600. What? So you are at a normal level. Whoa. That's an anomaly then. I don't know. So what did you say it's down to now? 350 or something? Holy crap. I hope you're all right. Yes, because of the reason that oils retain hydration in the system is because the cells of the body are built of fats. And I talk about this a lot, again, especially the omega-3 and omega-6, but especially we want omega-3, which is really anti-inflammatory. And when the cells are built and strong and limber, is the hydration and the communication is great. And because we are essentially fat. As much people like we run off carbohydrates, yes, but we are fat. And we rebuild from proteins. My greatest advice to people is get everything. Make sure you're getting everything in, not just limit one macro or micronutrient. focus on everything. But yeah, then you, especially when you age and your hair, like my hair's so much better with the veggies and the seeds and the, I mean, I've only put sea moss gel back in for a couple of days, but I do notice my hair gets thicker. You have magnesium glycerate and olive oil before bed. So I have stayed away from olive oil and done the flaxseed oil because I'm just noticing how much more stabilized my mast cell activation is with flaxseed oil. And to be honest, I don't even really notice it's not olive oil. Not that I was using olive oil. Gave blood monthly for 29 months and almost lost a foot. But now I'm golden. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. I hope you're doing better. So I do this at night. So people have asked me like, what skincare do I do? So this year I started trying to do more skincare. And as the creams that I was gifted or given from friends or from as like brands ran out, I just went back to using Nivea again, which I've told you guys, which technically isn't vegan. There's something out of a sheep wool or something that isn't in one of the creams, because there's like a creme and there's a pump one, which I think is vegan. And I at night add that to my face with castor oil, and I swear to God, do have makeup on, but I've done lives without makeup. If I'm in my pajamas, I got no makeup on. My skin is so much better, especially like all here and you don't see it often. It's only, you see it in the reel that I did. Well, maybe you guys don't notice. There's melasma, is it? Or like pigmentation. And that seems to all go. But in truth, it was getting worse. I've seen other fruitarians and people say that, because when I was doing a lot of the watery fruits all day, days on end, I started to notice all liver spots coming up, and people are saying it's all detox as the liver releases things. The liver can keep those things. I don't want them on my face. Holy moly. Now that I do denser veggies and denser fruits, or not watermelon for days and grapes for days, and I'm using moisturizers and sea moisture, everything seems to be repairing. But maybe it needed a good cleanse before the repair, right? Who knows? It's all part of my journey. Men's skincare is not promoted. Lanolin, maybe. Well, lanolin isn't vegan, but I've got a feeling it's in the cream. So I need to look for a different one. But I just find that every cream that I've ever looked at, because I'm really sensitive, usually bothers me, or it's got really expensive and not worth it. Or it's just, if I buy a cheaper one, it just sits on the surface. It's like my Goldilocks zone, but it is the only vegan, technically vegan. It's not animal tested. It's cruelty free, but it has some sheep wool something in it. Something from sheep wool, which is essentially some lanolin, I think. My 78-year-old sister swears by castor oil. She's been very healthy. She looked... So when I was eating a lot of fruit and used castor oil, it did nothing. But now that I've got like a whole lot of denser things in, I have noticed that. If those creams that I had were miracle creams, I would pay for them again. But they're all really expensive. And I'm just like, for now, I will... Especially around the eyes. I have seen a lot of women say that castor oil helps. It wasn't helping me until I changed my diet. I am 44. Oh my God, don't use emu oil. We can leave the emus alone, I feel. That was me at 36. 36? Yeah, 36. This is me. 44. We can all get there. We just got to start. And a lot of the time I think people stay on it is because they watch lives like this just to keep them motivated, and know that they can. Because at the start, you're not getting much dopamine and feedback. That's what struggles. But you've got to just be your own cheer squad. Thank you. You don't kill the emu. It's combed out. Oh, okay. Still, I try. I can't. I say, I've got something from lamb's wool in there, which... Hey, team Minty Girl. Hello. How long have I been on this live? 94 minutes. Look, I will say when I healed myself, another thing that I did. Well, it was very simple, is raw food, nature, and as much salt as I could get. I must have been so mineral deprived. So if I wasn't able to get to the river, which is salt water, or the ocean, which is salt water, once I was connected to my family again, I'd go over and jump in their bath and pour Epsom salts and Himalayan salt in and lay in for hours. People like, I tried that, it knocked me out. I'm like, yep, I walked straight to the next room. I couldn't even get home. And I did that. And I also would get any oil I could and smother my body and hair in it. Whether it was jojoba, whether it was almond, olive, coconut, it didn't matter. I mixed them, used some. That was another thing. But nothing was like I bought, anything was bought. It was like all nature. I didn't want to use things that I had to rely on someone else anymore. I'm like, there's something to this nature thing. But a lot of salts. I think I was very deprived. Is there injectable dopamine or maybe dopamine patches? There's oxytocin nose spray, but you should just, I think the reason people are dopamine deficient is because they're not doing the things that give them dopamine, like waking up and being immersed in the sun, and then making sure you get exercise, making sure you don't eat processed food, making sure you have good relationships. And when you have an antidepressant, which increases the dopamine without doing those things, we feel happy without our body forcing us or pushing us. Pain is a nudger. If you get uncomfortable, we should seek out ways to fix it. But instead of doing that, we've learned to just have something. So it's just like, if you're doing all those things and need help, sure. But from what I understand and what I've learned on this journey is the reason my rock bottom keeps me raw. Like going through hell is the reason I never am not going to be able to do what I do, because I'm not going back. And I think sometimes if we're in that space, it's to nudge us to do better for ourselves and not to grounding. Yes, sorry, Robert. So grounding is like next level. So it's like, if you can, this is why I want to create sanctuaries all over the world for people to go for like 3 months. You cannot be in contact with your family, your kids, your parents, none of this. You'll be immersed in nature and eating fresh food. And who I was when I did that and healed myself, like so quickly, and grounding all day. Like Layla, who's been on my channel, who had those babies. She slept on the earth and had kids. One, she was hunting, and then she had a kid where she was having meat as well, and the kid was born in pain. Started eating raw food and sleeping on the earth. Her 2 babies came out like an animal. They like an orgasm injection type thing in the amniotic sac. Anyway, that's basically what I was doing. I did sleep indoors when I healed myself, but most of the night, once I was well enough, I would be outdoors, grounded, like let's say 16 to 20 hours most days when I was healing. And raw foods, nothing really from a packet. At the start, some nuts and seeds, but very natural. I still think you can have nuts and seeds. I think the grounding, the ocean, and getting rid of all the things that you think you know. Basically leaving the matrix. I reckon I was healthier. Let's take a look. There's a photo of, that's why I got well so quick. Where's that picture of me? So this is when I started. My hair had fallen out. I was anemic. They couldn't infuse me with iron because my liver was failing. I had heart palpitations. I had dizziness. Most of my time was spent laying down. And then this is 4 weeks of raw foods. This isn't even 6 weeks where I was symptom free. This is 4 weeks. I think this is the first time I reconnected with my family, because it was my birthday. I hadn't been in their house, allowed in their house for a while, months. Let's find this. Here. That's 4 weeks. I don't know if you guys can see a huge difference. I can. I look less stressed, more relaxed. I already feel like in that photo, I mean, my hair's pushed back, but I don't know. And then 10 months, I'll show you, is 10 months of raw foods is here. Uh, here. Here. 10 months of raw foods. Like my hair, you can see, is all blonder, no dye there. There's a tiny bit of a natural powder on there. I hardly wore anything. I was in the first photo, I was two weeks away, 3 weeks away from 40, so I was 39. And then that was 10 months later, with like lots of raw food and granite. I was working in that photo. I forgot my microphone's not plugged in on there, stretching away. Maybe doing lives on my bed isn't a great thing. I just start like, I'll just take a nap.
We are back. Yeah, so that's 36. And then I got well. I don't have a photo to show you. I got well for a year, did better for a year. Then I got really sick, really, really sick. And this is me at 39. And then 4 weeks later, but that's the big jump, right? And that's with no hormone replacement, no supplements. That's nothing but fresh food, not even nuts or seeds, no salt. No, just not even did I do nuts and seeds. I let go of everything. It's just fresh fruit and vegetables. Nothing from a packet would I eat because I was just so didn't want to be attached to that. Now I eat nuts and seeds, but back then, but here I was, nuts, seeds, salt. But my days were very simple. Please know they were very simple. So I would literally just get up, have some avocado, dates, celery for breakfast, maybe snack on then some berries and some cucumbers, and then snack on some carrot and some just veggies or fruit during the day. And then I would make, the salad that saved my life that I made for you guys. That was the salad I would have at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then usually I'd get hungry again. I'm going to pull all the photos out. I took photos of everything I ate as I healed, like excessive amount of photos. So I will show you. But yeah, I would have a salad. Then at night, usually I'd snack on. Then I get hungry when I went to bed and usually have mouthfuls of either nut butter or avocados. And that went on for a few months. And then up until that other photo where you saw 10 months later, so about 6 or 7 months of that, before that, all I did was fresh salads and fresh fruits and no nuts, no seeds, no salt, no spice. Occasionally, maybe twice, I had nori sheets. So, favorite artist who inspired you? I inspired me. No one inspires me better than I inspired me. If someone can survive the crap I went through, the crap you've probably been through, you can be your own inspiration, trust me. Well, thank you for giving me hope at 6 a.m. that I can look younger regardless of getting older. Yes, you can. Hydration, nutrients, don't make bad choices, self-love. This photo without makeup is better. I don't know which photo you mean. Red light and biotin really brought my hair back, Robert said. Bless you. I'm so glad you got well after being so unwell. Thank you, Joe Sleep and Joe's Slim Down Journey shared that. Thank you. No, there's no meat, no dairy. We're talking about like you could literally walk out into a forest and just start. That's how you live, just like what animals do. Like you don't need an oven, you don't need anything. It's like if God left me on the ground and everything around here, you'd still find food. You'd be amazed when you start leading this way how you can see people's gardens have bits of food and leaves and beans and just eat it. I must be reacting to something. I've got itch. I get itchy around my ankles when I'm having a mast cell flare up. I don't have nerve pain, but I'm itchy. I wonder what's caused that. I changed over to flax oil today, not the seeds, because it was easier on my gut. Don't know. It's not the worst thing in the world. Definitely not the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Did you like Savage Garden in the 90s? Yes. I want to stay right here on a mountain. I think my nose is blocking up too. I don't know what's causing it. See, I have mast cell activation. So sometimes, although I'm healed, sometimes I get flare ups and sensitivities, and something seems to have, but it can be ungrounded. See, why I healed is this is all inflammation. This is all alternate currents, and we need to be on the earth with direct currents. Our body runs as a direct current electricity, not these alternate currents. And we need to be on the earth, have our feet on the earth. No meats. I'm new here joining because I'm still housebound, but I am on my way to good health. Good for you. You've got this, Joe's sleep and slim down journey. You've got this. We're all here doing this. When I give blood, they rush the blood to the hospital for the woman with the low blood. A lot of people have it. Most other people have high testosterone too. Interesting. Is this Europe? It looks no, it's Australia. I'm so itchy. Put some pawpaw cream on it. I don't know what's caused this. I was today. I'm still in my gym gear, which probably isn't the best thing. Maybe that's caused it. You never know what can set this off. But I do occasionally, which I share, get flare-ups, which omega-3s seem to help. But I'm not sick. I don't go to hospital. I don't need doctors. But it's just, I think the world we live in is some things seem to set me off still. Nothing like I was. Which meat did you? All of it. All of the meat. All of the meat, no matter whether it was organic, whether it was inflammatory. It causes leukocytosis in the body, which essentially all foods do, which is an immune response. But if you're sick and you get chronic immune responses, plus I have no stomach, remember, guys. So that's another thing. But I'm vegan. You don't want to eat that stuff. If you're not well and you want to feel good, try raw. Get feeling good, then make the decision if you want to go back. But I highly suggest finding a way to fall in love with it. Whatever you're going to do, the more you fall in love with it, the better you will feel. That actually helps. I think this is just an Australian thing. Like, we live for this stuff. Pawpaw ointment, it's just pawpaw extract, I think. This is like the goat in Australia. Is that what people say? The goat? Kakasha papaya, fresh fruit that's been fermented, and it's like a gel. It's like, I know people say lanolin, I'm vegan, but it's kind of like L-lanolin or Vaseline or whatever. It's just like, and you put it on rashes or bites or your lips or your eyebrows. Put it wherever you want. Turmeric eliminates my arthritis pain. I hear it can damage the kidneys, but I gotta have it. This is the thing, is you can find something which won't hurt you. And what I suggest is when you get into nature and natural things like turmeric. I had so much turmeric when I healed. In my salad that saved my life was literally grated shaved turmeric powder, and you put pepper with it, and increases the effects of curcumin by like a real dramatic effect. So if you take turmeric, you should have black pepper with it. The absorption of curcumin by like 200% or something, like massive. Is like, we have to use common sense. Like, that's what I feel healed me, is finally just like, it makes sense. The fresher, attractive like plants. Like, you could tell me anything's wrong and I'd be like, guys, you can't be serious. Like, even if there's a berry that's poisonous, I still think there's something wrong with thinking that chemical foods or killing animals or even cooking food at some level is more natural than something just out the ground. Like, literally, without humans here would just still grow. Like, that we think we have to come here and create our own food, that we never evolved without the need for all these things. It's just kind of common sense. And then once you get on that and you feel how you should feel, like the most amazing, the simpler you eat, you can just feel like a person you never knew existed. Then make the decision what you want your diet to look like. I don't know if anyone else is a runner, but I get really tight carbs. This has turned into like, I've got a rash and tight calves, and I have to stretch them. I was stretching them at Pilates today. Maybe salts boosted your iodine levels. Who's this talking? Hello, welcome. Welcome to support, health support. We're all here healing. Good for you. I run about most days 4 to 5 kilometers. I try take the day off, so I do Pilates. Like I didn't run today. I find recovery days are really benefiting me. But what I notice, and I love, look, I will say without a doubt, what helps me with my trauma and what helps me stay high vibe is that like getting the heart racing, and running does that. But I do notice my calves get tight. I've got to stretch more. I was actually thinking of waking up. I could do stretch classes, teach you guys to stretch. I'm going to teach myself to stretch first. I won't show you guys before I learn. I'm thinking I'm not a yoga person. And the reason I'm not is I'm not good with sitting in something. Like I need to be like, whew, I need to like stretch, or like, I don't know, or like the stretch needs to be a good stretch. So I'm like immersed in it. If I sit in something and calm, like everyone's different. I love the Pilates and the movement with the stretch. I am from Australia. Bahati, I'm from Australia. I am glad you like the channel. This channel is just real. I feel like life should speak for itself. Like that people don't need to be blasted with information. Like if someone's healthy, you can see it. And it's like, well, what does the person do? And I think I'm pretty healthy for 44. Well, we know I wasn't healthy. And now I am. I'm like, well, I can share what I do and what helps me. And maybe there's some things that people are like, oh, I've tried that and that works for me, or it doesn't, or maybe I'll try that. I think that like we need to let life speak for itself. Like when you guys try something, don't be like, well, I gave it 3 days like the box said and it doesn't work. Be like, I feel a little different. I'm going to keep going. Like listen to your body when you try things. Or you're like, it doesn't work. I feel terrible. Because like, we don't want to be feeling like this. I want to feel good. Or this. We want to feel good. So I can't walk 100 yards without feet blowing up and risking ER visit. My buddy runs 26 miles a week and not mauled by a Great Dane in Kansas with 50 stitches and a knee surgery. Age 60, he's a machine. So I noticed, and mast cell activation syndrome can cause this swelling. I think it's your kidneys though, isn't it? Is I, at my sickest, here in this photo, if you looked at my ankles, they are like this. Like that aldosterone in my kidneys was not working, or there wasn't enough, because my fluid was absolutely terrible. Getting my kidneys working was much better with raw foods. So thank you, Poya. Welcome. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 5,000. I'm trying to get to 5,000. Then we can reach even more people. The right people, I'm hoping. You have alcoholism. I'm not sure. I had it too. Here is our alcoholism. You're right. Well, alcoholism, I'd only drunk for like 4 months and my liver failed, but it's because I've been so sick before that. And this is about 6 weeks after having that treatment, maybe more. No, maybe, yeah, about, I can't, time at that period was not great. Then I stopped drinking. I went back to it 3 times, but I had stopped. I have one horseshoe kidney. What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means. Hello in India. Lots of people from India. I subbed you. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. There's lots of information there. But yeah, I will do more long form videos. It's just that I need my phone. So every time I go to record, I'm like, well, then I have to stop working and I have to get out my computer. I'm like, yeah, no. I don't drink alcohol. It makes us blind. Poor perception of reality when drinking. It is. There's many benefits to not drinking. You can feel good. You get up early. You do some movement. Your body heals better. You're not so inflamed. You don't end up looking like this or feeling. I think more than looking, feeling like this. Like, that's just not how I want to feel. Thank you. I actually feel like I have to go because I need to go to bed. I'm actually doing a podcast in the morning with a guy. So there's a brand, I don't use the brand for shampoo anymore, but I use it for hair oiling called Morocco Method. And it's a very natural product. If you're deep in your healing journey, it's worth getting because it was the only one I could use deep in my healing journey. Instead of two separate kidneys, it's one. Wow. I've never heard of that. How interesting. See, you guys teach me things every night. A glass of wine now and then, I think 3 to 4 a year this is. So I've had this discussion before. So I had to reframe what alcohol was for me because I don't like to be scared of things. And like if I was on a beach and someone had some vodka or something, and I'd cut my foot, I'd use it on the cut. Also, I was in pain on an airplane, not that I had any, and I'm like, if I get in a really horrible situation again, it can be used a small amount for pain relief. But I've said, like, if somebody used red wine vinegar in their dressing 3 times a year, it's like the same as vinegar. It's such a small amount, it just reacts as fermented food. It's not a problem. 3 or 4 times a year, if you don't think about it and you have it on your birthday or Christmas and you never think it again, you're just not addicted. I don't think that would happen to me. I don't think I could even put it in a salad because my brain would go to not the taste, it was the effect. Yeah. All right, guys. So much love. Like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon. Bye, guys.